Hello, welcome back to Nat Scraps. My name is Natalie Koenig and I am a bit of a crafty, creative person. So those of you that might know me from previous companies and things like that, I have had the pleasure recently of being able to work with Uniquely Creative kit. So how I got this kit is that I had somebody in my studio at one of my workshops. She had it in her bag and I was like, oh, I really wanted to grab that kit. And I couldn't see it on the website when I had a look the other night. And she goes, I need this product from your shelves, so let's swap. So we did a quick swapsy. So I have gone and created the layout in the kit. This is you can get a 12-month subscription to this kit. It does a double page each month. Now I did pre-record what I had left over after I had finished this layout. I don't know where the footage went. It just disappeared. But I had some papers left over, lots and lots of the creative cuts, lots of stuff from the cutout sheet, and lots of vellum left over too. So the kit is great value. You definitely can get way more than just a double page out of it. I'm not going to show you the instructions, but the little booklet that comes with the kit, it's a few pages long. It does have instructions on how to make it. I'm not going to show you that because that's proprietary to the company. There's no need to show that off. This is the layout that the kit makes, and with the greatness of YouTube, we're going to go back and see how I created with the leftover parts of this kit. Okay, with the amazing, wonderful transform of time, here we are creating the extra double page. So you can see here, this is some of the papers. So that's nearly a full sheet there that is left over. And I do stop in a moment and show you, I found when I re-edited the video where I go through what's left over. So you'll see that in a moment. So I thought I recorded it separately, but it was in amongst the middle of this. So we are just here and I start to cut out these suitcases because that's where my inspiration is coming from. I'm thinking about these suitcases, and I start to cut these out when I realize that I haven't shown you what's left over, and I'm going to do that. So these are the bits and pieces that are left. There's quite a few little bits of cutout, so they're all pieces from the cutout sheet. I had been on the phone to my friend in my craft room, and while I was talking away to her, I was snipping away, so I had them all cut ready. There's these little stickers here that are sort of like vintage passporty kind of bits and pieces, and a whole heap of these creative cuts. And when I say a whole heap, I mean bucket loads of them left. Here's some more of the cut out sheet that I have not cut out yet, and another piece of the paper that is left over, as well as all of this vellum. So there is loads still left after making the page with the instructions. Now, unlike me, I actually followed the instructions pretty much well. If you have this kit at home, this should be roughly what you have left over as well, depending where you cut for certain things and all that. Now I'm going to go back, and with the wonderfulness of being able to cut out footage, you had seen there that I've cut those suitcases, and now I'm taping this piece back together. I want to use this little collection of embellishments, the pre-printed embellishment cluster. So I stuck that back together where I'd cut it apart, and I will cut it apart again later because that's just what I do, cut apart things and stick them back together. I found that the craft cardstock I was working on was just a bit too dark for my liking, so I swapped over to vanilla here, and I'm really glad I did. I think that makes it much better. Now it is a bit clean and not very grungy at the moment. We will grunge it up a slight bit as we go along. I've also cut out some photo mats, so I have 2 6x4 photo mats and 2 3x4 photo mats here that I'm going to use on my double layout. So I have popped them there. Now I'm bringing in the largest pieces. So when I've got leftovers, I try to start with what my largest pieces are and work from there. And you can see I'm trying to make the most of them by cutting those in half and being able to spread them over the double page. So I have those pieces there. I'm going to bring in some vellum in a moment. So my thought process is these suitcases are going along the bottom. So I'm just having a little look. And as we go along here, you'll see in a moment how a sort of nothing kind of stands out. Like the suitcases are on the darker cardstock, and then I pop a tag in a moment on the left hand side there, and that doesn't stand out because it's on a very similar color cardstock up the top. So I will make a little bit of a change shortly with the order of those papers on the page and make it so that the darker things pop at the bottom on the lighter paper, and yeah, the lighter things pop a little bit more on the darker. So we'll see that shortly. Here's some vellum. I was trying to figure out where I was going to put this vellum and if I had enough to use, I had to use 1 sheet or 2 sheets. I'm cutting off a piece for down the bottom with the holes in it, and then using 2 other pieces. So this is just 1 sheet and I'm just using them up the top. So what am I up to now? Let me think. I'm just thinking about how I can layer that piece on so it's a little bit over the photo mat. I will change that up a little bit later, as you will see. There is so many choices in the cut apart sheet of different things you could use. You absolutely have like probably 4 or 5 different clusters on that sheet that you could pop onto your layout. Definitely able to use loads of them. I am sure that I could get another layout out of what is left over. There is still quite a bit. I think I go through what's left at the end of this video, but don't quote me on that one. Here's another one of those clusters where there's all of the embellishments. Now you'll see me soon be able to cut those apart a little bit and layer them up. They look like clusters, but I try to get a little bit of dimension into them as well in a moment. That kind of doesn't make sense. It will make sense when we get to it. Here's where I swap those papers out and move that darker one up a little bit. And I didn't show all of that because I just destroy it all again to do some blending and to add these to the page. So I cut a few little pieces out there so you weren't just watching me move cardstock around. On this piece of vellum, I liked the holes along the bottom, but I wanted to add a few extra holes there. So you see that I went with my crocodile and I just punched a few extra holes. So where there was 1 hole, I think I added 2 extras on either side or roundabouts it. And I couldn't quite mathematically get my brain around what half of this one was and where it was going to start. So I kind of folded it in half and just gave a little crimp at halfway and put that across the join of the 2 pages. Just because my brain did not want to work. As well as the blending on the photo mats, I blended around all of those papers, and you can see there they look much better and more coherent once you have blended around them. I also popped foam tape onto the back of these photo mats and layered them up. Again, I did cut out a little bit of footage there just because you guys don't want to watch me blending and that for hours on end, I am pretty sure. Now you may notice on my left hand there's a bit of a bandage, and I apologize for the fact that it looks so awful and yucky. I can't do anything about that. It's a bit better today. I've taken 1 layer off, but I did have a little crafting accident in the cottage the other day. I was taking some little buttons off some stamp sets and managed to slice through with a window scraper through the side of my finger. So they have managed to glue it back together. Thankfully, I had a brand new sharp blade in there, which 1 minute was easier to cut my skin, but it meant that it was a really nice clean cut and that I would glue it all back together. But it is hindering me a little bit in the craft room and hindering when I bang it on things that then make it hurt. So I think there's one spot in this video somewhere where I bang it on one of the tools and I shake a couple of minutes and take a couple of seconds to get over it. I've just brought in one of my texture stamp sets here, and hopefully you've got one of these in your scrappy stash. If you haven't, definitely get them in there. It helps grunge things up a little bit, and I'm just splattering that around abouts where I know there's going to be a few clusters. And it has sort of like this wider splatter and then these smaller ones. I'm going in just with the dark browning, the same one that I've done all of the blending with, and I'm just dabbing that around, and it helps to take that really, really clean look off the layout and give it a bit of age and a bit of texture on there. It's one of those things, if you haven't got one of these like stamp sets, definitely they're everywhere, all the companies do them, grab one and pop it into your stash. Here's where I'm cutting apart those cut apart layered pieces to add a little bit of dimension. So I've cut away where the little tag is, and I'm going to pop the base bit underneath. Then I'm popping a little bit of foam tape onto that tag and mounting it on the side of that photo mat. So it's going to be at the same level as that photo mat now, and it just gives that little bit of extra dimension there. Now you do need to make sure you put it directly over where you've cut it out of. You can move it over to the side a little bit if it's like where I have it, that it's tucked under, but it does help to create that dimension from a single layer piece. I'm going to do the same on the other side, but slightly different to this one, and I'll talk that through when we go over to there. I do realize after I've stuck that down that it really needed a little bit of blending around it just to help it pop, and you can see there that makes a huge difference. I am also at the same time going to layer up all these suitcases so they look like they're a big mass of suitcases about ready to go away. Now I'm very lucky, later in the year I'm going to get to do a whole heap of travel, so I know that I'm going to definitely have photos of oodles and oodles of photos that will be able to go on a layout like this. Here you can see I cut that tag up, that layered tag up on this side. I've cut that middle section out that has like a little travel thing on it, and I'm going to stick them so that it lines up over the top of where it was. I'm just smooching them in just a tiny little bit on the top and the bottom so that you can't see that it's been cut away. You don't lose much, you might lose a little bit of millimeter. And as well as that circle that was on there, you'll notice in a moment I'm going to find one in the cut apart sheet and layer that over the top as well. I think it says holiday or something the like. So again, this is all just to get a little bit more dimension on the side and have something that's at the same level as the photo mats. So this was the little holiday circle I was talking about, and that's going to be mounted with foam tape up at about the same height. A little bit more playing with suitcases. You wouldn't think they would take that much work, but it did take me a while, and I was sure that I'd lost one there for a little bit. You can see as you look around my area, I am not a clean crafter. I am a messy crafter. I have stuff from woe to go, even if it's the simplest design in the world. I tend to make an absolute mess of it. I don't know how some of these people have everything really organized around them, and it's, you know, all the scrap goes into the bin as they create, and there's only like one or two tools out. Like I tend to get every tool out and then forget to put them back away until the end of the layout. So yeah, that's my crafting style, but I take up way more room than what I need to create. So just getting those last couple of little suitcases on, and I know when I go away later in the year, I will not be taking that many suitcases. I have been telling my kids are coming with us, and I've been telling my kids that they need to pack light, that whatever they pack, they are carrying for the whole time we're away, and I'm trying to get that through to them. I notice here that all that vanilla where the photo mats are is just throwing me. So to get around that, I am just throwing on some white photo mats, and it helps me to sort of visualize and get over that big blaring vanilla canvas that was in front of me. And as soon as I've done that, I can actually kind of concentrate more on those smaller details which are going to come in now. So I do spend quite some time going through all of those pieces that are left over. There is so much left over, and so many cute little tags and button bits and bobs there that you know, you spoiled for choice, really, is what I'm trying to say. So there's loads of stuff there, and I'm just pulling out little bits and pieces and popping them where I think they're going to sit best. I do have a couple of things that are on my mind at this point, like at this stage, everything's very straight across the bottom there. So I'm going to pull out a little piece, and this is the one here I'm thinking about. And I put it in there, and I put it in there on a bit of an angle and just sort of kind of jaggedly. And that helps me like unbalance it a little bit, because it's just a tiny bit too balanced for my liking. I do like things symmetrical every now and then, but it's an old vintagey kind of junkety feel layout, and I didn't want things to be too perfect, like, so that helps there. I also bring in a larger tag right sort of towards the end that helps to off balance that a little bit as well. So here I'm sticking that one down. I do like that one. I think the 4 goes, that little 4 or whatever, that little round circle, I think that goes somewhere along the line. Also building a little cluster up the top, which just in that style, I stick down, have to pull back up and blend around the edges and stick it back down, because that's just what I do. I stick things down to pull them back up and then pull them off again. It's my style. I'm trying to find somewhere for that little fragile to go. I do ended up tucking it in there down with one of the suitcases. But this to me now is just about all those tiny little bits and pieces that I want to pop on there to help add that kind of junky old world travel feel to the layout. Here I'm just ripping the bottom of that vellum. So I had punched some extra holes in it, and I just wanted to, you know, rough it up a little bit. And along the lines of that, well, if I'm going to do that at the top, at the bottom, I'm going to do that at the top as well. So I kind of put a little hole in the top there, and I do come back later and do a little bit more. Here I'm looking, I've got that little black tab that says file near the airplane there, and I do like that just little pop of black, and I have heaps of those creative cuts that are in the black tone. So I spend ages trying to find another one to go somewhere on the page, on the right page, that's not too high up. So when you try to put something that's a little bit different, that's going to draw the eye, you want it in a little bit of a triangle. And you'll see me later just playing for quite a while with loads of different pieces and trying to find another piece of black that will work perfectly over there. Here you see that I put that bigger tag there. Now that bigger tag doesn't stand out much in this light, in the filming light that I have here, but it is quite green compared to the vellum. So in real life, it actually stands out a little bit more than what it does on the camera. So I've got that little number 1 that can go there, that's the darker one, and in the moment you'll see me go back into the creative cuts, and there will be quite a while of me just pulling things out, popping them in until I find something that works for me. I do cut a couple of pieces and have a little look at things until I finally decide on what I'm going to do. While I am doing that, I just want to take the opportunity to thank you guys very, very much for watching the video and hanging out with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please consider hitting the like and the subscribe button. Those things help just as a YouTube creator to keep the page ticking over a little bit. So I would really, really love it if you could do that for me. And let me know what you think of what I'm doing and the content at the moment. I know I've had a couple of weeks where it's been a little bit weird, the content, because, well, I haven't really known where I'm going and what I'm up to. So as I'm working that out, the content may change a little bit from what you're used to, but hopefully not too much. I'll still be creating, I'll be scrapbooking, I'll be card making, and I will still be me. I will still stick things down and lift them up and re-put them back together and cut them apart, you know, all that stuff that I do every time I make a layout. So I'll still be me, but things may just change a little. And you can see there I've decided to do that little love, and I've made it so that it looks like it's tucked under that little travel banner that's up there. Here I am, I'm just going to rip a few more bits and bobs around the page, and the final thing that I'm going to do to bring everything together is I'm going to blend around the outside edges of the page. Now I'm not going to make you watch that because that is very painful to watch for a really long time, so I've cut out the majority of it. And here it is, here's the layout, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know what you think of it. I'm going to pop a few still photos over on Facebook as well. So if you want to see some close-ups and some stills, head over to my Facebook page and check it out there. Other than that, I hope you have a really, really wonderful day, guys, and I will see you on the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.